I mean,
Yes.
have you played a creation bard?
No. I
No,
have
I
played
think
illusionists.
yeah.
I am pretty familiar with doing illusion stuff, and I think it's kind of similar. But creation bard's a lot more limited, right? Because the things have to be real and have to be not creatures and not moving, and the constraints are a lot higher on them. You have to where illusions you can just kind of like come up with any idea and try and make it work. When you're summoning physical objects, you have to work a little bit harder for it, know what objects are available to you, and like discuss about them and that kind of stuff.
Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and we're going to start on our bard subclasses today, beginning with the College of Creation.
This is one who bards that like celebrate making stuff. They're the arts fair uh, shopkeeps that are like peddling all kinds of quilts and all that crap and making their own loots and doing all that fun stuff. I like it a lot. It's a really nice change of direction from just the liar bard that's seducing barmaidens and writing poetry. It's cool. It's
Yeah.
great direction. The next edition is gonna have they have like College of Dance. They're doing a lot more. Bards are performative, and that's sort of their identity as the performers of the world, beyond just like music, which is great. And this is definitely in that realm. You get 10,000 words worth of features here. This is a long one,
Yeah,
team.
that's a
Buckle
lot
up.
to unpack here.
I love bards. I played a spirits bard recently and had an absolute blast with it. And we'll cover that when we get to spirits. I think creation was my other choice that I was like, oh, I should maybe want to try this. If again, memory serves. You start with two third level features. You
Yeah.
start with motive potential and performance of creation. So motive potential, whenever you join the College of Creation at third level, whenever you give a creature a bardic inspiration die, you can utter a note from the Song of Creation to create a tiny motive potential, which orbits within 5 feet of that creature. The mote is intangible and invulnerable and lasts until the bardic inspiration die is lost. The mote looks like a musical note, a star, a flower, or another symbol of art or life you choose. When the creature uses the inspiration die, the mote provides an additional effect based on whether the die benefits an ability check, an attack roll, or a saving throw. On an ability check, the creature rolls the bardic inspiration die to add it to an ability check. Sorry, whenever a creature uses the bardic inspiration die to add it to an ability check, the creature can roll the bardic inspiration die again and choose which to use. So it's advantage on the bardic inspiration die,
Yeah.
basically. On attack rolls, immediately after the creature uses the bardic inspiration die to add it to an attack roll against a target, the mote thunderously shatters. The target and each creature of your choice within 5 feet of it make a con save against your spell save DC or take thunder damage equal to the number rolled of the bardic inspiration die. And finally, saving throw, immediately after the creature rolls bardic inspiration die and adds it to a saving throw, the mote vanishes with a sound of soft music, causing the creature to gain temporary hit points equal to the number rolled on the bardic inspiration die, plus your charisma modifier, minimum of 1.
Okay, well,
Hey,
interesting. I like that they do different things. I figured it was just going to be all right. Well, advantage on ability check, advantage on attack roll, advantage on a saving throw. But no, they do. Let me ask you a question about the advantage on the ability check. Now, if they're already getting advantage from something else,
I shortcutted. You roll
oh,
the inspiration die twice and take that whichever you like of the rolled inspiration die, not the entire roll. So they
ah,
roll if they roll to make a stealth check and they roll a 16, and then they roll a bargain inspiration die and they roll a 2, they get to roll it again if they use the inspiration, or if they use it there, and they can take either result, the 2 or whatever the new d6 result is.
right. But if they
But it
already
does,
had advantage from
yeah,
something else,
they
then
absolutely can stack this on top of it.
yes. Okay, that's neat. Um,
I mean,
yeah, go
honestly,
ahead.
none of these are like revolutionary. None of these are game warpingly powerful boons to the sheet. They're all just like little bits of added juice that you now get. On attack roll, you can sometimes do a little bit of damage around you. And you're doing like a d6 damage or a d12 damage in the upper tiers. It's never going to feel great, but you are kind of getting it for free attached to a boon to the attack roll. And this is alongside another feature that we haven't touched on yet. I
Yeah.
think of all of these modes, the ability check one probably is the best. I think that's the mode you're going to find happening the most.
All right.
But in that
Sorry,
world,
Sam.
it's decent.
Sam, you froze. You're frozen again. Hello?
How
Okay.
about now?
You're back now.
What am
All right. Freeze. All right. All right. Go back to after you said you think ability check's the one you're going to use most.
Mhm. they're just like, of all the dice being rolled, I expect most of them to be ability checks. This affects it's nice that it affects the one that you're rolling most in the best way. I think that's nice. That's novel, right? That's the one I want to use the most, and that's the one that you're gonna end up using the most. I think, at least.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's helping you pass that ability check that you need to make. Attack roll, yeah, a little bit of extra damage is fine. Yeah, like you said, that's gonna not be as meaningful as you progress. Saving throws, you get a couple temporary hit points. That might not be what I need when I'm making a saving throw. I just really want to make that saving throw.
Yeah, it's useful against things where you take half damage, and then it helps you shrug off most of the damage. Is I think the idea. But then
Yeah.
whenever you get like held person, you're like, oh crap, this does stone nothing if I add it to it. Unlucky. So yeah,
But that's not
mixed
all we
bag.
get at third level.
That's true. You also get Performance of Creation. Also at third level, as an action, you can channel the magic of the Song of Creation to create one non-magical item of your choice in an unoccupied space within 10 feet of you. The item must appear on a surface or in liquid that can support it. The gold value of the item can't be more than 20 times your bard level, and the item must be medium or smaller. The item glimmers softly and a creature can faintly hear music while touching it. The created item disappears after a number of hours equal to your proficiency bonus. For examples of items you can create, see the equipment chapter of the player's handbook. Once you make an item with this feature, you can't again until you finish a long rest, unless you lose a second level spell slot or higher to use this feature again. You can have only one item created by this feature at a time. If you use any action and already have an item from this feature, the first immediately vanishes. The size of item you can create with this feature increases by one size category when you reach 6th level, and when you reach 14th level. So you go from medium to large to huge, which I find deeply interesting.
Yeah. What are you creating with this? Like
That's a great
starting out
question.
anyway.
Out the gate, I'm getting median objects, and they can be of gold value, equal to 60 gold or less. That's any weapon in the player's handbook. You can just whip that into your hand whenever you need it. Do you want to do that? Probably not. I
Well,
don't
no,
think
because
most of the time you're going to need
you
more
probably already
items.
have a weapon.
That ends up oftentimes being the issue with the specific kinds of abilities. We see this with the conjurer that can make random objects to use for themselves. They're not. You normally have access to the ones you care about. Now, if you do want to play this option, I would very much so recommend go in and like note where the objects that are interesting to you are. This does say that the item, a non-magical item, so it takes away things, I think, like Alchemist's Fire, I think is magical. I believe Healed Potions of Healing, I think, are magical, so it can't be those ones. But you could take stuff like acid. You could take
Yeah.
stuff like oil and light things on fire. And that's cute. Is it good? But it's cute. If you
It's
get
not
to
something.
fifth,
It's something I'd be more excited about if I wasn't limited to a long, once per long rest or spending second level spell slots on.
yeah, I 100% agree. I do think it gets more interesting as the things get larger, though, because the size capacity goes up, and this makes vehicles an option.
Yeah.
So like you can get carriages, you can get wagons, you could do even like if you can go up to huge, you can do some small boats if they're cheap enough. Most of them aren't cheap enough, but you can like do a rowboat for large. That's a reasonable thing that only costs 50 gold. Man, the gold costs in these books are you look around like these don't make any sense, but there are a few little things you could do with that. I would assume that like cheap catapults are like upper tier level features I'd expect to be able to do. I would get like basic siege equipment as I think I'd be able to create whenever I'd want it. That's what I would ask and talk to my DM about if I were doing this, especially as an upper tier option, because I do think at the lower tiers it's definitely kind of lackluster. Just kind of like, do I care about this being able to make a barrel right now? Maybe we can hide in it. Like that's kind of cute, but it's not. I don't think like it's not overtly powerful. I think you'll find ways to use it if you're
Yes.
like you keeping that list of equipment on you all the time. I just would not expect to get that much mileage out of it.
This, I mean, it might be the same problem we have when we're talking about spells like, well, creation or fabricate or something, where you and I don't seem to like. I feel like there are more possibilities out there than what I'm thinking of, and so I like to give it give the feature, give these spells a little more leeway from other people with more imagination than me,
I
and
definitely
and
would like.
experience using it too. It's I mean,
Yes.
have you played a creation bard?
No. I
No,
have
I
played
think
illusionists.
yeah,
I am pretty familiar with doing illusion stuff, and I think it's kind of similar. But creation bard's a lot more limited, right? Because the things have to be real and have to be not creatures and not moving, and the constraints are a lot higher on them. You have to, where illusions, you can just kind of like come up with any idea and try and make it work. When you're summoning physical objects, you have to work a little bit harder for it, know what objects are available to you, and like discuss about them and that kind of stuff.
right.
Now, you're absolutely right. I think in the moment, there's going to be a lot more circumstances. Moment to moment, you're going to come up with different ideas where this thing's going to look a lot better. And I think it's going to be entirely situational. It's going to be entirely table dependent. If you're the kind of person that likes to come up with crazy, wacky hijinks, this seems like a spell right up your alley. I can envision myself playing this character. The one I was thinking of was a halfling specifically, so I could make trunks that I could hide in, right? If you're a little goblin, if you're a small creature, you can make a medium-sized object that you can hide in a pinch. And that's cute. I like that little get out of jail free card, kind of. As long as you can make it look like it belongs in the space, you can do some neat tricks with it. That's sort of the floor on it, and that floor honestly is pretty fine, but I do think it gets better the more you invest your time into brainstorming objects that are cheap and of note.
See, I'm already thinking of fun things you could do with, like you said, a rowboat, maybe a cart attached to some horses, and then when you run away and the bad guys steal this cart to chase you, and you got a high speed thing going on, and then oh look, I created a pencil. Boom, your cart's gone.
That's really cute. That's really
Yeah,
fun, right?
yeah,
Now, you need to get the large one. The large definitely
right,
is where
right.
this gets a lot better. But I think that you can do similar cute things in the low tiers with smaller land vehicles.
Yeah,
Maybe like a wagon.
a
Anyway,
wagon
moving
that's
on
smaller
from
than a cart.
maybe. Or like I just maybe like a carrot cart. Like the cabbage guy from Avatar, that cart, that size. There's so out the gate, I don't think these are like the most robust features, but you do get two cool utility features that really just make you a better bard. Like all your bardic inspiration's better. Now you get to make cool items as well at will. There's not at will, but like relatively and affordably. There's a little bit of stuff going on here that's kind of fun.
Sure.
All of it's great. Nothing overtly broke it or anything, but it's fine. I like all of this. At 6th level, though, you get animating performance. So at 6th level, you can animate a large or smaller non-magical item within 30 feet of you that isn't being worn or carried. The animate item uses the dancing item stat block, which uses your proficiency bonus. The item is friendly to you and your companions and obeys your commands. It lives for an hour until it is reduced to 0 hit points or until you die. In combat, the item shares your initiative count, but takes a turn immediately after yours. It can move and use reaction on its own, but can only take the action on its turn. The only action it takes on its turn is a dodge action. Unless you take a bonus action on your turn to command it to take another action. The action can be one in its stat block or some other action. If you're incapacitated, the item can take any action of its choice, not just dodge. When you use your Bardic Inspiration feature, command the item as part of the same bonus action you use for your Bardic Inspiration. This means the bonus action juggling problem is gone. You can never have to worry about where your bonus action is. You don't have to compete with Bardic Inspiration in this thing. You can always use both if you want. Once you animate an item with this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, unless you lose a 3rd level or higher slot to use it again. You only have one animated item by this feature at a time. If you use this action to already have a dancing item for this feature, the first one immediately becomes inanimate. So this is like all the companions ever. That's just what this thing is. It is a summonable ally that does a bunch of stuff. Some notes of it. It's a larger or smaller construct, so you can pick a whole wardrobe if you'd like, or you can go as small as, a little thimble. It always has an AC of 16, which is pretty solid for a summon. Its hit points are 10 plus 5 times your bard level, so it's got a decent chunk of hit points. You're getting this at 6th level, so it's going to be looking at 40 hit points. That's not bad. It has a 30-foot flight hover speed and can be large, which means medium creatures can ride these.
That's fun.
It's got an 18 strength, which is like robust. It's got dark vision, which is fine. It's immune to some conditions, damage immunities. It's poison and psychic. It's immune to things that would alter its form. Now, the actual the real juice in this is two things. It's Force Empowered Slam, which is a melee attack that has a D10 plus your proficiency bonus, force damage. Getting that every single round is great. It uses your spell attack mod to hit, so you're going to hit with your charisma. It just bludgeons things. That's great. I love having companions that just hit things. Why not? but it also has irrepressible dance. When a creature starts within 10 feet of the item can increase or decrease your choice that creature's walking speed by 10 feet until the end of your turn, provided it isn't incapacitated. By the end of that turn.
So it's just getting in people's way.
There's no reaction costs. When any creature starts to turn within 10 feet of it, it can just increase its walking speed or decrease its walking speed. So allies, it speeds up. Enemies, it slows down, conceivably. Yeah. Weird. Neat. I like this thing a lot.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. I want to like it, but I feel like I'd have.
Fly?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's that. You can fly in a magic bed, but I don't know how much use I'm going to get out of this.
I'm remembering a Simpsons bit where it's Homer Simpson cast himself in an action movie, and he's got a robotic couch with like jets and wings on the side, and he's like shooting people on the couch that he's just sitting on watching TV. That is what I envision like this bard could be, is the Homer Simpson character that's just like too lazy to get out of bed, so they just animate the bed and fly around on it. It sounds fun as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time, this is a companion. Companions are just always powerful. I don't think this companion is more powerful than like Drakes or the Beastmaster Ranger Beasts. I don't think it should be. That's their core identity. This is part of the larger identity of the animator. And you can get them back if they die, right? So this is kind of like a 3rd level slot, no concentration, that you get for free once. That's a bunch of hit points that can attack things and can carry people around if you want to. It's the large size means it can clog up areas. Once it dies, it becomes inanimate, which means there's still an object there. So like if you send like you said, a giant bed down a narrow hallway, it jams it up, it punches things on the way out, and then it dies, it becomes animate. And now there's a giant bed shoved and crammed in this tiny narrow corridor. There's some utility to that, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm very high on the Beauty and the Beast animated furniture fantasy, and I think this does that beautifully. And I can think of 2 different dozen characters that I would love to see riding around on different kinds of furniture. But it goes beyond furniture.
I'm thinking about it compared to the animate object spell, which I think it's not. I don't think this is nearly as powerful, right?
But what if you did both? Because this doesn't take concentration. So then you can have a dozen knives stabbing people to death while you're sitting behind the cutting board.
Yeah. All right.
You can do the whole kitchen table even. There's a lot of cute things that this plays alongside, right? This is not something that is... The reason I think this is powerful, no concentration, extra summon companion that you just get once for free, and I do think, especially in the upper tiers, you will sink more spell slots into this while you have other concentration effects up. This is an extra ally that's defending you, that's blocking for you, that's doing a bunch of different stuff that you don't really have to invest anything into. That's great.
Yeah. Yes. You got this. You can have another summon thing up at the same time.
Also, I love as an adventurer, this like using your environment, right? Nothing tells you to use your environment more like animating performance. Whenever you walk into any room, the DM has to go, did I put a table in here? Crap, they have a large object. Because you can be like, great, that table's ours now. And it stands up and starts wailing people around with its legs. That sounds like a great time.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, you can animate chandeliers. You can animate whatever your heart fancies and really make the environment actually come to life. That's so whimsical. I hope I'm selling it. I love it.
Oh, yeah, you're selling it.
Good. At 14th level, we get Creative Crescendo. So 14th level, when you use your Performance of Creation feature, you can create more than one item at once. The number of items equals your Charisma modifier. If you create an item that would exceed the number, you choose which of the previous items to disappear. Only one of those items can be of the maximum size you can create. The rest must be small or tiny. You are no longer limited by gold points when creating items with Performance of Creation.
Oh, well, that last line is something.
Yeah, I really wish this worked with animating performance.
Yeah.
But hey, now you can summon actual boats. They had to be huge or smaller, which is more restrictive than it sounds, but gold is no longer an issue. If you need a boat, you got a boat. If you need any kind of land vehicles, you got land vehicles. Being able to just summon in a huge object, that's helpful. Sometimes you want an Iron Maiden just to torture somebody. There you go. You got an Iron Maiden. No, Who cares what it costs? You can make it. This is like actual cheat codes to the game level of illusion magic, I think. Whenever you remove gold costs and the size category is huge, you can do so much dumb garbage with this. This is really like gloves off. Yeah, use your imagination, have fun with it. Take all the restrictions that held back things like Fabricate and just run with it. Have fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential here. Really, I mean, this is something I'm excited to hear or read comments about.
Yeah, how would you use things like creative crescendo and performance of creation? What is your favorite object to animate with animating performance? That's my
It's
question.
weird that they got this giant gap for bards, 6th level to 14th level.
I hope they fix that too.
Yeah.
I really wish every class got 5 subclass levels, just because there's such a core identity to the game. Like, what subclass you are is often more defining than what class you are. Soul Knight
Right.
rogues look very, very different than assassins, right? And I love to see more of the specifics, but I
We're
know
getting
bards
there.
can't have it
We'll
all.
get there soon enough.
Hopefully. I'm gonna give this a B, I think. I don't think motive potential and performance creation are that powerful when you get them, and the low tiers do matter the most. So, like, it's fine. I'm happy to have them there. I think 6th level, you do get a house of feature that I'm thrilled to get, and I would love to play this to 6th level for this reason. And Creative Crescendo is really, really cool, but it's a 40th level feature, and it's still just kind of doing mundane. It's using mundane objects in fun ways and creative ways, and that's really cool. It's just also not going to be like, there's not a ton of build around potential beyond just like, I take, animate objects with my magical secrets and some tiny servants maybe. This is a little bit loose, which is going to make it available to a lot of characters if they want to just like, I'm playing this bard idea. This is a generic subclass that's powerful. You can kind of make this work with it, but I do wish there was a little bit more specific build direction. I kind of wish motive potential, I don't know. I'd love to see the abilities tweaked a little bit, just so that, or make them all the ability check reroll one, like just
Right.
a strict bard basic upgrade. I think would go a long way to making this the A that I'd want it to be. But it's still great. I would absolutely play this. I would recommend you try it out. It looks really fun.
Yeah, I'm less excited about it. I think I mean, you've talked me up on some of the features, animating performance in particular. I would have been inclined to lean towards C, but then I realized a lot of the limitations I'm thinking of are taking place in my own imagination. I think, yeah, enough people could get, do more of the things that what I'm thinking about. So this probably deserves a B. So yeah, I'll agree with your B.
What I also really like about it is, even if you don't have that, like, if you're like new to the game, you're new to role playing games, you're new to improv, the motive potential will still do something. It will still
Yeah.
be a meaningful improvement to your sheet. Even if you can't make performance creation do a ton of unique and creative stuff, this sort of gives you a way to dip your toes in to that kind of illusionist conjurer kind of fantasy, while also just getting a fine feature. Just like a totally respectable, it will always be a passive improvement to things you were doing anyway. It's gonna feel fine to use motive creation. It's not gonna like be the best thing in the world, but it'll be an improvement that you'll be happy to have. And that makes it go up quite a bit in my mind, because I can imagine a lot more people could find joy in this than if it were only performance creation.
All right. Well, that was the College of Creation Bard subclass. I know, bards are an increasingly popular class to play. We got a lot of bard fans out there. Let us know your thoughts about this one, and we'll like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.